The way to get closer to finding your future self is by clearing away what's no longer needed and leaning into who you were designed to be. I want you to sit with that for a second. Right now, we are being asked to navigate some of the most difficult times in history. The world feels louder, the expectations are heavier, and all of this noise, we are pulled in 1,000 directions, told to do more, be more, give more. But what if that's the wrong approach? What if the key to becoming your most evolved, powerful self isn't about adding more, but about removing what no longer serves you? That's where boundaries come in. Today, we're going to talk about why boundaries are the key to reclaiming your life, your energy, and your future. Because the truth is, we don't need to do more. We need to do less of what has no value in our journey. So let's start by looking at the prevailing wisdom, what we've all been taught about success, and why it might be completely wrong. The prevailing wisdom is that more is more and boundaries are restrictive. When it comes to business or life, it is wise to put up boundaries. For so long, we've been fed this belief that success comes from grit, hustle, and availability, that saying yes to everything means we're open to opportunity, that if we just push a little harder, stretch a little further, and give a little more, we'll finally reach that next level. But here's what I've learned. That mindset is not sustainable. There was a member of my network that put it best. Boundaries aren't just nice to have. They are survival. You see, we were never meant to always be available, always say yes, always on. But that's the world we live in. A world where LinkedIn never sleeps, so we feel pressure to be on 24/7. A world where social media drowns us in noise and comparison. A world where people take without asking and expect without gratitude. And yet we keep going. We ignore the exhaustion. We sacrifice our personal values for the illusion of belonging in spaces that do not honor us. So let me ask you this. At what point do you say it's enough? Is it when a client treats you with disrespect, when someone takes credit for your work, when you're asked to do something that goes against your integrity? What are the hills you are willing to figuratively die on? And if we don't take the time to define our boundaries, the world will define them for us. There is a cost of not setting boundaries. The moment you start tolerating what drains you, you're already losing. Think about that. The more we tolerate negativity, the more we sacrifice our well-being. And it happens so subtly. You say yes to one more meeting. You take on work that drains you because you don't want to disappoint. You scroll through fear-filled media and wonder why you feel anxious. It's like carrying a backpack filled with bricks. Each boundary you fail to set is another brick you add, and suddenly you collapse under the weight. Someone else in my network said something that stuck with me. It was this. For me, the biggest shift was realizing that just because I can handle something doesn't mean I should. This is the turning point. The moment we realize that just because we can push through exhaustion, just because we can tolerate disrespect, just because we can be available all the time, doesn't mean we should. And that leads us to a reality check. The reality is boundaries give us a safe space to process our thoughts and the margin to move forward. The truth is boundaries don't isolate us, they liberate us. Think about when we create space in our lives, when we say no to what drains us, we suddenly have room for what fuels us. Boundaries protect our nervous system so we can think clearly. Boundaries remove distractions so we can focus on our real purpose. Boundaries stop the fear-based noise that keep us stuck in survival mode. I refuse to give attention to things that fill us with fear. What would happen if you did the same? What if you refused to engage with negativity, refused to give your energy to things that don't serve you? The answer is simple. You'd have more space, more clarity, more power, and that is what leads us to transformation. The more good work I have to do in the world, the more I see the need to protect it with boundaries as it develops. This is the paradigm shift. Boundaries are not walls. They are doorways. They do not shut people out. They let the right people in. They do not make you weaker. They make you stronger. They do not limit your potential. They unlock it. And if it sucks the life out of me or brings down my vibration, it's a good indicator I need to put a boundary up and walk away. Let me repeat that. If it drains you, if it does not belong in your life, imagine a world where we all lived by this truth, where workplaces honored boundaries instead of glorifying burnout, where people protected their energy and creativity instead of letting it be hijacked, where we connected out of our genius zone, not out of our obligation. This is just about personal growth. It's more than that. It's about a collective evolution. Boundaries aren't about shutting people out. They're about making space to figure out what we truly stand for. And this is a message I want to leave you with today. We are not here to live someone else's story. We're here to write our own. And the only way to do that is by setting boundaries that protect your energy, your creativity, and your purpose. So today, I want to leave you with 3 questions. What boundaries do you need to set today? What is the one thing you will no longer tolerate? And where can you create space for your next evolution? Because remember, boundaries aren't about disappearing. They're about coming back to yourself so you can finally step forward. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with someone who needs this message. We all get caught up in doing so much more, and our lack of boundaries take us off track. Together, we can come and start a movement, one boundary at a time. So if this resonated with you, if you'd like to know more about setting boundaries and coming back to yourself, I have 2 offers for you. One is Next Steps to the New You. The next cohort will start on March 17th. It is 11 weeks where we learn to understand what are your gifts, what are your talents, and what gets in the way, and give you a year-long plan with the tools to be able to handle that. The second one is I invite you to go to my website, lisamcguire.com, go to get your free chart, download your human design chart. I've got several upcoming classes, a masterclass on Unlock Your True Self, a human design masterclass that will help you start to unpack that. So I'll see you back here next week, and here's to discovering your legendary self.